This program is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is HomeTalkUSA with Michael King, where we will discuss topics pertaining to your home with industry-leading experts. Michael King is a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in home improvements and the author of Contracting with the King. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton. Discover what's next in the home improvement industry and explore new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world as Michael King and Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today. We invite you to visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com, one of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, we proudly present Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Yahoo! Welcome, America! That's right. This is the Invent America show, part of the Home Talk USA radio family. We're just so excited to be back with you for a brand new year. And obviously, on behalf of all of us, the Genesis Communication Radio Network, Home Talk USA, King Broadcasting, the Invent America part of our show, we want to hope all of you had a great holiday season as we prepare for this upcoming year. Brand new topics, brand new technologies that we're going to be discussing here, and we're just excited. And we're also excited to have KFGO 104.7 FM, also KFGO 790 AM, both simulcast together. That's now tuning into the show down in the new North Dakota areas, the Fergus Falls areas. So we want to welcome all of you from that area. It's all about education and information. That's what we do here each week and every week. Now I'd like to bring on my co-host. They call her the Inventor Lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. Hey, Rita! Welcome back.
Hello there. It is so nice to be back after, the holiday. It's like, all right, it's time to get back to work now. And, inventors have been calling me and saying, all right, let's get these topics going. And we've got more people signed up to join us at the Inventor Roundtable, which is kind of our call-in version of the show where inventors can meet each other and ask questions this Thursday than we have had in a year.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about this week's show. I know I've heard Pete Trevino with Spinal Tap. I think I've met him before, or I'm familiar with his technology, but we got a great show for our audience, right?
Well, we do. And after, the holidays and everything, this show is kind of a reality check for our inventors and our listeners. We're talking about inventors, don't get bamboozled. And, there's always conversations I have with inventors that it's like, oh, my God, we've got to talk about that on the show. It's, there's not really a learning curve for inventing. They've got that aha moment, so they're off to the races, finding out, do they really have something they can file a patent on? How do they get a prototype done? And so often someone will tell them something that they want to hear as opposed to something that they should hear. And there's a difference.
Yeah. And Rita, to be honest with you, up until our show, there really was never a blueprint to from start to finish where you can go and say, okay, this is what you need to do before you do this. And you can't do, C till you do B, and you can't do D till you do C. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Oh, absolutely. I always tell inventors, it's like you make your next business decision based on the information you gathered at the last step. So when they tell me, it's like, oh, well, I bought a book that tells me how to do it. It's like, Yeah, well, that's really good as fire starter, but most of them are really not worth the paper they're written on when it comes to inventing. Yeah. Because that learning curve is so important, and yet, it's not like inventors would say, oh, yeah, I've done 5 of these and I know what I'm doing. No, this is the first one.
But why do inventors really do get bamboozled? What's the problem? It's just lack of education, lack of planning, lack of doing your research, or it's just a combination of all?
Well, part of it is, like I said, there's not a learning curve. So it's not like, well, I've done this 5 times, so I know the right steps, and I know when somebody is just giving me, candy talk. And so, and that's it, is it, an inventor, they have their aha moment, and so they believe so much in what they've done, and they may have had family and friends that said, oh, this is so cool, you need to find a patent, you're going to be a millionaire, you get to buy an island, and all they can see is the island, and now how hard it is. When I start giving them numbers, and it's like, this is what you focus on. These are the reality numbers. It doesn't mean that you can't, make some disposable income, but you're probably not going to buy the island. And so keeping feet firmly planted on the ground, making good business decisions, and yet the inventors say, well, they want to hear, oh, yes, you're going to be a millionaire. And so it's so easy to get bamboozled when some, scoundrel company out there says, oh, yes, you're going to be a millionaire, because that's what they really want to hear. So our job here on Invent America is, the reality check. It's like, what do you do? How do you make good decisions on this?
And one of the most important decisions after you really got maybe a hot product is whether or not you got to make that important decision, whether or not you want to license the product or manufacture the product yourself. And that is a big question.
Exactly. And one of the things that's sparked this conversation is, when one of the inventors I had been, talking to said, well, I've got an investor now, and he says, I'm going to make $25 million my first year. It's like, okay, that is too much candy talking.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then the investor wanted her to find family members who would match his contribution. It's like, okay, that is really too much candy talking.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, my goodness. It's like, investors generally know how to take advantage of inventors. He will own all of her intellectual property by the time she's done. We had another offer come in for an agreement where the licensee said, you have to assign all your intellectual property to us. And it's like, no, you don't. And that's when we went back and we made the counter offer. They said, yeah, okay, we were just kidding. It's like, well, and how good is that supposed to make us feel about the way you're going to treat us in the future? So there's just times when, we're trying to give the information to all of America out there about the inventing process and how hard it can be. And if all you see is the top of the mountain and not each footstep in front of the other, you can get bamboozled. Yeah,
you're right there, Rita. But we've got a great show with some great guests. So can you just mention all 3 guests that we're going to have coming up?
Absolutely. Okay, Pete Trevino is our first one. He has invented an incredible spinal massager product. He's sending me one so I can try it out at the end of the week. And I cannot wait to get my hands on that. So brilliant inventor. He's got some stories to share. Ian Osborn out of Colorado, he has invented a whole array of products using LED lighting systems.
Wow.
A lot of experience. I sat with him in on one of his wow wake-up moments when it came to talking to an investor. So I'm looking forward to the stories he has to tell. And Don Skaggs is our expert on this one because he's an inventor. He's got products out there, but he runs the Kentucky group, and I've been the guest speaker there a couple of times. But he's got some stories that he can tell as an inventor and dealing with inventors for years. I've known Don for probably 10 years, probably not as long as I've known you, but for a long time.
Well, we got to take a short break. Oh, my producer's saying we got to pay some bills. We're up against the clock on a hard break. So, hey, we're going to come back. You're listening to Home Talk USA, the Invent America show on the Home Improvement Network. Here, I'm the Cajun contractor, Michael King, along with my sidekick, the Inventor Lady herself, Rita Crompton. We both will be right back with our first guest. Yahee! Y'all stay tuned now, you hear?
Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
All right, welcome back to the Invent America show on the Home Improvement Broadcasting Network. I am Michael King, the Cajun contractor, and along with Rita Crompton, we want to welcome all of you. Don't forget to check out our website at HomeTalkUSA.com, and all the information that you want is sitting right there, and it would take you to the Invent America, King Broadcasting. Everything you want to know about this show and our topics is sitting on our website. So, Rita, our first guest is what? Pete Trevino, right?
Yes, Pete Trevino. He is the inventor of Spinal Tap massage. And, you know, Pete had been in oil and gas almost all of his career and was forced into early retirement by a chronic back condition. And the Spinal Tap personal massager nearly completely saved his life. It was absolutely amazing. He was going to be spending the rest of his life in a wheelchair. And he had tried everything. And at a point where his massage therapist was going to be out for 3 months, Pete goes, I got to come up with something better. And he did. Pete, thank you so much for being on with us today. We are grateful.
Rita and Mike, I appreciate so much having the opportunity to come on with y'all.
And so tell our listeners a little bit about Spinal Tap massage, because, one, you're sending one to me. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. But, you know, how did it save your life?
My first back injury was when I was 18 on a motorcycle, and it caused problems. And, of course, you know, back then you just lived with them. And then the second serious injury was about 3 years later when I was 21 playing roughneck football. So my whole adult life, I had chronic back pain, acute back pain, then chronic sometimes as it would improve and sometimes subside. But almost every major event in my life, from getting married to having a son, I was sitting there going, oh, my God, my back is killing me. And, you know, and as you age, it just continues to get worse and worse and worse. And I have had every treatment that was possibly available. I had the money for surgery, but of course they tell you surgery would be the first of 2, maybe 3. In my condition, they wanted to remove the L4 and L5, if you're familiar with the spine, and replace it with cadaver bone. And of course they go in and kill all the nerves. That's why it quits hurting. And so I didn't want to do that. I knew I didn't want to do that. But as I got older and I had to leave work, I got to where I could barely walk, and it was time to do something else. So surgery was going to be my next option.
Yeah. Well, correct. You know, I was listening to you talk about this the other day, and it seems to me I heard you say you were riding your Harley again.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. One of my dreams is to have a Harley-Davidson personal tap massager that they can put in their stores, because it will give their riders the relief they need after having a weekend or just a trip on their bike. Yeah.
But when you go from, you know, looking at life in a wheelchair to, oh, I was out riding my Harley over the weekend, that is a major improvement with a back problem.
Yes, it is. Yeah. If you're familiar with Harley-Davidsons, they're incredibly heavy. I had lost so much muscle mass in my legs, I couldn't hold it up anymore. I couldn't sell it because I just loved to hear it run, you know, and that was about it.
So over the years, you know, Well, we're talking about, the things you learn and how easy it is that an inventor can get taken advantage of. So, sometimes the inventors get so excited, about their invention that, it's easy for somebody to, oh, yeah, this is really wonderful. And the next thing you know, you've lost everything. So what can you share with our listeners that you learned the hard way?
There is no easy path for a first time. That is for sure. Every turn will be challenging, and every situation will take everything you've got to offer it. Don't expect a lot from your friends and family because everyone knows the chance of an inventor going to market is less than 1%. And, the first thing you hear is, oh, Shark Tank. But then when you look into that, you draw your opinions and make a decision. But I did, I've spoken with a lot of people, yourself included, early on, and I invested almost $20,000 in an individual's company that was supposed to get everything going. He saw the value. He saw everything, how it could help, and I sent him a check. And 2 months later, he closed his doors, and that money was lost.
Well, Pete, I tell you, it's a common story on this show. Me and Rita has heard that many times in the past, and because it is a hard process from start to finish. There's just no easy way of saying it. But if you could get the education and get a good blueprint together, then that's why we like doing this show, because I hate to say it, but we can use your situation to make it better for others. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the technology can get to market. But I'm sure, what is next for Spinal Tap, though? What's your future? What you looking at to go?
Well, my massager is an incredible device. Seldom you'll hear an inventor say, my invention saved my life. I'm not a doctor, but it did. It not only saved my life, it gave it back to me. And it put me in a position where I'm actually able to work out with weights. I'm lifting heavy weights now and rebuilding muscle mass. And it has to be, you have to have the ability to never give up on your dream and keep moving forward. My next steps are going to be a little bit more refined.
Well, Pete, we got to cut you off, Pete. We're out of time. There's the music. How can we reach you? How can we reach Pete? Rita?
832.
Well, we are going to be listening. We're going to be listing him on the website so that people can be able to go ahead and grab his email or his phone number and get in touch.
Oh, great. Invent America. Great. All right, Pete, thank you so much for being our guest.
Mike, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to have to step away right quick, right here on the Home Improvement Broadcasting Network. This is the Invent America Show with Miss Rita Crompton. We're going to both be back with another guest, another topic. Yay! Y'all stay with us here.
USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
All right, welcome back right here on the Home Improvement Broadcasting Network, streaming live on the Genesis Communication Radio Network, which is our broadcasting partner. This is the Invent America Show. along with my guest, Miss Rita Crompton. Rita, who's our guest?
Our guest this segment is Ian Osborn. He is the founder of Wild Ideas Light Company, which is his website, wildideaslightco.com, and he has been inventing for decades. Ian, you're an amazing inventor. You deal basically with those micro LED lighting systems. I think I said all of that right. So tell us a little bit about some of the products that Wild Ideas Light Company produces.
We produce anything from very small bicycle-type lights all the way up to commercial lights for stadiums and arenas, businesses, car dealerships, you name it. We pretty much have designed it and developed it and then manufactured it.
I know it's when I used to live in Denver, you say, well, did you see the lights on this parking lot? It's like, yeah, when they're shining out over the horizon at night, that's generally something that Wild Ideas did.
Yeah, we actually had one dealership that got told by the city to dim them down because they were too bright, which was funny. They actually went in and put shields up to help dim them down so they weren't so bright because we overdid what we said we were going to do. So it happened.
Well, there you go. So you have been inventing for years and a wide variety of different products. So, today we're talking about not getting taken advantage of. And so share with, our listeners, what was one of your bamboozle learning moments?
In the very beginning of, starting my business, I had a product that was state-of-the-art, and I was making the mistake of giving away my talent of information and knowledge and not getting anything in return until I was lovingly kicked underneath the table in my shins and told to shut up, basically. And ever since then,
oh no, I didn't tell you to shut up, but I did pinch you.
Yes, you did. You did kick me. I was so. Here's the problem with all inventors. We are excited about our own products, and we want to be able to share that wealth of knowledge and give it away. And unfortunately, the objective is not to give it away. And, we want to be able to keep that knowledge for ourselves and actually be able to make a living off of it. And that was, one of my things in the very beginning was I just wanted to be able to give everybody all the information. Hey, this is really cool. Look at what I invented. And then in turn, basically I wasn't going to get anything out of it if I kept my mouth open. So you definitely have to learn to follow your heart and follow somebody that is very well versed in the process of protection for you. And, that is, definitely the biggest thing that I can say for anybody is make sure you get a hold of somebody that is willing to help you and you trust wholeheartedly that can help you stay the line and not give away your product for free.
Well, I take that as a compliment because you asked me several times to go with you and listen to what was being said. And I think that's really good information for the inventors is that, like you said, you get real excited about what you're talking about. But unless there's someone else there listening to the interaction of what's going on, because you're so excited, you don't always really read the conversation like you need to.
Correct. And, when you're not in a conversation and you get something via email, you really got to pay attention and read every single line of that email and contract over and over and over again to make sure you are not getting taken advantage of. And I've seen that over the years where, I've helped other inventors and I've told them, do not do this. And unfortunately, there's been a couple that have fallen into the trap of, I'm going to make all this, and they're going to be trustworthy. And unfortunately, it happens, and it doesn't happen. So you got to be very aware of that. So.
Yeah, I know. I always tell inventors, I was like, stand in front of the mirror and practice this line. That is proprietary information. I said, as soon as they ask you a question and you're not sure, just say, well, that's proprietary information. And then you can decide later on, should you or should you not get back in touch with them. But, when in doubt, don't say anything. Listen to, the questions. Don't try to gather more information than you give.
Correct.
And that's, I had a gentleman, and he says, no, he said, you are going to handle all my negotiations. When he told the other party that, they said, well, we can't negotiate with her. We need to negotiate with you. And he said, you can talk to her, or she's going to give me all the talking points back, and then you can talk to me, but you're basically still talking to her. So they sent me the information, and it's like, okay, this isn't too bad. And I sent them back some points, and they said, oh, we agreed all of these things. I guess we got a deal. I said, I guess we do. So, it's good always to have somebody else who's been doing it for a long time, because for most of our inventors, there's not an inventing learning curve. You're not doing 5 or 6. Well, maybe you are, but most inventors are doing 1 or 2. And so it's important to have somebody else who's been down the road and, like you said, that you trust.
Right. And, that's one of the biggest advices that I have for anybody is that, find somebody that you trust and that you can actually go through with that and make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what's next on your list of, wild ideas to do products?
I'm actually taking a product that has been used by CDOT here in Colorado, as well as other entities, and we have taken it to the next level and made it more portable for anybody and everybody, rather than just very specialized arena. We have opened it up so that it will be available for pretty much everybody else.
All right, we got to cut in. We got to get some information. We're just simply out of time, up against the clock on a break. What is your website? How can we learn more about Wild Ideas Light Company?
You can reach me at www.wildideaslightco.com, and I can reach back to you as soon as you give me a line.
All right. Ian Osborn, we definitely want to thank you for being our guest. Okay, buddy?
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. We're going to take a short break. Got to pay some bills. We want to invite you to stay with us right here on the Home Improvement Broadcasting Network. I'm streaming live. That's right, on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. This is Invent America right here on Home Talk USA. Me and Rita Crompton will be right back with you with another guest, another topic. So stay tuned. Yay!
Welcome back to Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Don't forget, we are streaming live on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. If you want to know about the Invent America show or Home Talk USA, just go to our website at HomeTalkUSA.com. All right, Rita Crompton, Miss Inventor Lady herself. Who's our next guest?
Well, our next guest is Don Skaggs. He's an inventor, entrepreneur, speaker, author, and consultant on a huge wide range of businesses and different types of products. He's the president of the Kentucky Inventor Group, and I've been to several of the meetings that they've had. They've had people come to our Inventor Roundtable meetings, and I think one of the big things is that when inventors are able to sit around a table and share information, they can avoid some of those bamboozle moments. So, Don, thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, thank you, Rita. Thanks so much for having me.
So, inventors, it's not like there's a learning curve. You can go to school to become, an attorney, an accountant, a nurse, even, a tech person. But there's not that learning curve for inventors, not for the basic consumer products that we see every day. So, we used to always say, well, the inventors eye chart was have idea, get patent, make money. And we know that that is just not, the way it is. So when, that excitement and that belief in their product can easily set them up for disaster. So share with us, some of your thoughts about how inventors best should go through the process.
Absolutely, Rita, and you've hit the nail on the head, really, because there's so many inventors that we talk to out there, and they're rushing out. And they think all I got to do is just rush out and get a patent, and I'll be an instant millionaire. And that's not how it works. At all. It's a process. It's just like anything else. Maybe they've watched the TV show a few times and they think, oh yeah, I can do all this in 30 minutes, just like I saw it on TV. And it's not that way. It's not how the world works. It takes practice. Think of throwing a ball up and trying to hit it with a bat. First time you're going to do it, it's not going to work. Second time, third time, fourth time, maybe 100 times, you're not going to hit that ball. But by that 100th time, you're going to hit that ball because you've practiced.
Yeah.
And
you practice.
Just like anything
and with inventors, they don't get to practice.
They're right.
They have an aha moment.
And it's test fail, and a lot of times they think they fail once, and it's like, oh, game over. No, you're learning. The fails become your teacher, and there's so many bad steps you can make out there. There's bad people out there that can hurt you if you're not careful and if you don't watch. And I think it's a great piece of advice you have that you can actually learn from other people who have been down the road a little further than you have. And that's like what we do at KY Inventors.
Yeah. Well, and that was going to be my next question is, the inventor groups like KY Inventors and the IRT, how are those groups beneficial to the inventors when they don't have the learning curve and the practice fields to go to?
Well, Rita, no successful inventor, let me put it that way, is ever successful, ever works in total isolation. And unfortunately, a lot of inventors out there, they're kind of like Tom Hanks in that movie Castaway, except they don't even have a soccer ball to talk to. And they're like all by themselves. They're tinkering in the garage, and they just want to keep tinkering because a lot of times that's their comfort zone. It's like, oh, I just want to make this one more improvement. No, you've got to get out there, and you've got to learn from other people. And if you can learn from someone else who's a little further down the road than you are, that's like finding gold on the street.
Right. As I get so many times, we're doing a virtual meeting and somebody will say to me, it's like, well, the best advice I got was from the inventor sitting next to me on a virtual screen. And one might be in Florida and the other one is in, California. But still, they're able to meet each other. They're able to, commiserate together, share successes together. They get excited. They hold each other accountable. It's like, well, what have you done since we saw you last? And those are, reasons why some of those meetings, like the Inventors Roundtable is our call-in version of the show. It's free. All they've got to do is plug in the link and join us to be able to ask questions and say, who knows a good attorney? Who knows a good prototyper?
Well, Don, I hate to interrupt, Don, but we're out of time. Man, this thing flies fast. Don, how can we reach you? How can we reach Don, Rita?
We have got email don.skaggs@kyinventors.org. I will post everything. The website is kyinventors.org. But we'll get everything posted so that we can make sure. If you want to get in touch with Don or the KY Inventor Group, you've got it.
All right, we got to run. We're up against the clock. Rita, it's about that time. We're going to come back and wrap up, but you're listening to Home Talk right here on the Home Improvement Broadcasting Network. I am the Cajun Man from the Bayou Land alone with Rita Crompton. We're going to come back, give some information, and don't go nowhere. We're not finished.
Welcome back to Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
All right. Wow, Rita, this hour went by quick. I tell you. Like, okay.
It always does. I know. I catch myself talking faster and faster because I know it's coming to an end.
Well, Rita, we don't have a lot of time. What we got up next week? I know you got some goodies next week.
I do. One of our sponsors, Kicker Design, is going to be on our show talking about those later stages of prototyping. We had one earlier that talked about early steps of prototyping. So he's going to be on, have one of his engineers on with us, and that'll be wonderful. So we've got Inventor Roundtable meetings coming up. We're going to ASD Market Week. We're going to be talking about that coming up. So everybody, join us. We've got great topics coming up that will help all of America.
All right, Rita, what is your website? What did it get you?
It is invent-america.com.
And all the information you get can go to HomeTalkUSA.com. All right, that's it. But another week. We sure hope you join us next week right here on the Home Improvement Broadcasting Network, here at the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. On behalf of the Inventor Lady herself and the Cajun contractor Michael King, we hope you come back next week. Yay!
Home Talk USA with Michael King is produced by Home Talk Media in association with King's Broadcasting Network and Genesis Communications Network. Broadcast and streamed live from the great state of Louisiana. Host and producer, the Cajun contractor, Michael King. Executive producer, Michael Mellinson. Affiliate and sponsor relations, Joe Spera. Comptroller, Sheila Gregoire. Assistant producer, Christian Bethencourt. Board operators provided by Genesis Communications Network. And I'm your announcer, Kevin McCarthy. Music includes King's Creole by Prolific Arts, Cajun Jam by StockMusic.com, and Zydeco City by Steve Rice. Home Talk USA with Michael King is sponsored by Bonai, pest solutions for your home, garden, and lawn. Decorators, take outdoor living beyond ordinary. Aztec Washer, innovative roofing solutions. Seal it right, seal it tight. Trimislab, replace rotten or missing wood with Trimislab expansion joint repair. Masonry Cosmetics, change the color of any porous masonry with proven masonry staining. Green Products Company, #1 in wood preservatives. Preserve, protect, and clean what you value, and most of all, make it last. Bond Products, manufacturers of InstaBind, the world's first do-it-yourself carpet binding solution. Deckrite, life is tough. Make your exterior flooring tougher. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Home Talk USA with Michael King. Until next time, visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com.
Yay!